All right, so in a Google Meet with my class, let's say it's 9 a.m., it's my math class, and after September 1st, you're not going to have the ability to record a Google Meet because that is a paid feature that is going away. And so, like when you went down here to the dots before to record, that's not an option. So the way that I would use Screencastify to grab my direct instruction, because yes, it's 9 a.m. and I'm giving my, 10-minute direct instruction in math. For the part of this direct instruction where I'm actually, got some sort of tool up, awe app or something, and I'm showing my kids this is how you actually do this, I may have to do that depending on what grade level you are, several times during the day on the exact same skill. And still, even at 3 o'clock, there may be certain of my kids who have not been able to do this during the day. For whatever reason that is, they might need this learning at night. So I want to capture my direct instruction. And basically what you're going to do is just go up and hit your Screencastify app or your extension. Mine's already on because I'm screencasting this, but I'm going to turn that on and I'm going to grab just this direct instruction piece. So maybe 5 to 10 minutes, whatever it is, 15 if you're on the high end in a high school setting. So now when this is done, I have this Screencastify that I can go in and I can use later on. I would name my screencast, and I'll kind of show you an example here. Most are going now if you hit that. And then, so these are all the screencasts that I have ever made. I'm going to scroll back down to when I was in the classroom and doing math and show you. Now, first of all, this is where these are for me. This is not organized necessarily, but this is also not something that, your students or your families would have access to. But for me, what I did was I named these by the skill. So something that matches kind of the skill that was student friendly. So adding like denominator or, subtracting like denominator, I think was another one of those or something like that. So that is named by the skill, kind of named by the learner, is accessible and understandable to my students. Where did it go? Anyway, and there are some others down here, like you saw, mixed times the whole number, unit fractions as multipliers, symmetry, whatever it was. So I kind of named it by the actual skill. Okay, the reason I did that, like I said, is so that my families, my parents, and my students would have access to that later. Now, at that point, they don't have access to that big dashboard. So what I would need to do is in Classroom, if you wanted to, organize these in Classroom. So I might organize these as create materials. And so if this was my fraction unit, and this was adding unlike the denominators, okay? And then, here is the video from Tuesday, September 4th, or whatever it is, okay? Just to let them know that this is a material, not an assignment. So remember, this is for kids who maybe couldn't be there during the day, or kids that want to go back later on, students or parents that are like, what in the world, this template says you're doing unlike denominators, and I don't remember how to do that. So they can come back and use it later. So I would add my video. I put all my videos on YouTube. There's another video here if you need to figure that out. So I would add my video link here. You can grab that when you stop your screencast from Screencastify. Or if you come to YouTube, click on yourself, your channel. I go to Beta Studio because I think that's the easiest way to navigate all my videos. And then I do videos. Here's all the videos I've shot. If you get to the bottom, you're like, where's the rest? If you click this arrow to go to the next. And you can keep doing that, or you can search it once you get there. So I'm going to go grab that link, whatever it is, to that, adding unlike denominators. And I don't know if that's here. That one may not be live. Anyways, so let's say I'm going to grab it. I hit the three dots. I get the shareable link. Come back to my classroom. I'm going to insert that here. Oh, look, there it is. I'm going to find it. Yes, this is formatting in Sheets, but I didn't find it. But anyways, now, topic is another one. And I'm going to create the topic of fractions. That way, my students and my parents, once again, this is kind of for them. I'll post it. So now you see that over here on all topics, your topics kind of fall into the left-hand column here for students and parents. And that way, whenever they go in, they can see like, oh, this was, you can name it Unit 1 or fractions or the American Revolution or whatever, however it is that you feel like you need to chunk that out. But now if you hit this, then my students and parents are going to see that the only thing that is topicked as fractions is going to be that material. Sorry, my computer's running slow. Is going to be that material that comes up, and then there would be all of the fractions. It would just send me just these. So then they can go in and watch that video. Okay? Any other videos that I topic as fractions are going to come here. So you can organize these in Google Classroom, okay? Or straight out from your YouTube channel. So like if these are all of my videos, I'm not going to use fraction videos right now because I don't. So out here in my YouTube playlist, wherever it is, however it is that you find it on YouTube. Okay, you see these? I can actually create playlists. That was over on the left-hand side. I could start a new playlist, and I could call it fractions. I can make it unlisted, which means my class can find it, but other people can't. And then I'm just going to create this. Okay. Now I can add videos by their link into this channel. Go to my YouTube videos, and then let's say this was my fraction video, and I just add these one at a time, bam, 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 and put them into this playlist. I can now share this entire playlist with my families by copying this. I can send that through class tag or remind or an email, be like, hey, here's all the videos on fractions. And that way they have those to use later on. Okay, you could do it by dates, however it is that you think it's going to be organized. So I can actually create YouTube lists and share those YouTube lists. Remember, YouTube is kind of the common denominator for our family, so in understanding things. So I put all of my screencasts into YouTube. So I can organize those in my classroom, okay, or in YouTube. You can do that straight from Google Drive, but it's a different file type, and it does confuse parents a little bit. And then we talked about the uses are, I'm going to grab that first 10 minutes of my meet, the direct instruction. I'm going to screencast that. Then I'm going to turn that off when I'm done talking about my skill. Going to go ahead and do whatever it is that I need to do during that meet with the class that's live. But then I'm going to organize these later and get those out either on my YouTube channel or in my classroom with the topic so that students who were not there live during the day can watch it and then do an assignment on it. It can also just be used to reteach a skill. So like later on, if I'm like, man, this group still doesn't get blah, 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 well, I send them that skill. Or if it's an individual student. And it's also kind of for parents, especially for our younger students who are trying to support their kiddos right now or through distance learning so that they can watch that, and be like, oh, this is what they're talking about, or help them break it down. That way they know what's going on as well. So recording direct instruction, I would start a meet. I would turn my Screencastify on top of it, grab just that small chunk. Remember, we're going to keep those in small chunks for learning. Go ahead, do my Screencastify. If you want to double dip, that's why I would do it in a meet, or you can just make a Screencastify straight out and use that for instruction. Then organize it either in Classroom or YouTube, and that way it's there for your families and your students to get to easily later so that they can rewatch if they need to.